I'll start with some challenging news that came out last week that we've already communicated some about. But as most of you know, the U.S. Department of Education announced on September 5th that it was ending discretionary minority serving institution grant programs, those for Alaska Native and Native Hawaiian, and as well Asian American and Native American Pacific Islander serving institutions. A little bit of a mouthful there, but the upshot is ending programs of allocations and grants that were based on having a threshold percentage of certain race and ethnicity based populations. Important to say, those dollars were spent across institutions, including at the University of Hawaii, and were not limited or directed to specific races within those allocations. Nevertheless, what the announcement is that the discretionary portion of those grants will end in FY25, which is September 30th. The ones that are not discretionary, that are congressionally appropriated, will continue for now, but they have indicated that they believe they are unconstitutional. In terms of the actual impact, the discretionary funds that have been terminated, at least in paper, total 22 grants, which originally were allocated about $55 million. 11 of those grants have specifically received no non-continuation notices, and the impact of that is around $10 million for that particular segment. For the non-discretionary grants that we await further word, there's about $45 million in those grants, but no notice yet as to what those will entail or whether they will continue. This announcement also affected some Title VI grants. We have 8 grants in that category that totaled $5.4 million. We have received non-continuation notices for all 8 of those grants, and there's a balance of a little less than $1 million on those grants. And finally, it also affected 3 Native Hawaiian Education Program grants that we held. They did not terminate those, but they did reduce them by $843,000. So obviously not great news for the university. We are scheduled to meet with the U.S. Department of Education officials next week and expect to have a little more clarity on what will happen from here. Certainly, this loss of funding will affect our campuses, really all of them, to a varying degree, including faculty, students, and support, as well as programs that are supported by these grants. It raises significant questions, really, for minority-serving institutions like UH nationwide, and we had hoped that this would not occur, but we have been preparing for it for many months now. And so we are continuing and actively assessing campus and program level specific impacts to identify contingency plans and what pieces of these at-risk programs and terminated programs we need to consider internalizing and replacing through UH. To be clear, there's no way to replace all of these funds, but we are certainly committed to ensuring that student success continues and finding ways to support that, as well as preserving and advancing Hawaiian ike, or knowledge, and Olelo, the language. It is important to us, it's central to our strategic plan to be a Native Hawaiian place of learning, an Indigenous serving institution, and that remains unchanged, really at the core of who we are and our mission. So stay tuned for more specific information in that regard. We're working closely on that. We will be updating the campuses, students, faculty, and staff as the guidance evolves, and we have, as I said, much more targeted information as to how it affects people. And we are working, as always, with our congressional delegation and state leaders to respond appropriately and with advocacy to the extent that it exists. So you had asked for an additional snapshot of enrollment. It's still not finalized, but good news on this front. System-wide, our enrollment is, as of today, 51,553 students. I should say as of last week, not today. I'm sure there may be a little bit variance today. But the good news is that's up 2% system-wide. So it's a difficult time for higher education with conversations about the value and meaning of higher ed, but I think our stakeholders continue to recognize the significance that we deliver. I mentioned last time that first-time freshmen are up, and that is 4.1% overall across the system. To give you some specific highlights that I'm particularly pleased to report, UH Hilo, which as we know has taken many measures to improve their enrollment, is up by 19% in new freshman enrollment. UH West Oahu up 6.3%. UH Mānoa up 6.2%, and the UH Community Colleges up 1.3%, all in first-time freshmen. So very encouraging news on that front. Graduate continuing students are up a little over 1%, and undergraduate continuing students up overall just shy of 3%. And we have a 9% increase in early admit high school students, which now who now total 3,740 in terms of our population. I will say that the one area we're paying close attention to is a decline in transfer students. And this is connected to some efforts that we'll be taking this year in terms of general education and transferability. So I'll report back on that, I'm hoping, in our next board meeting to give you more specifics about that. But overall, very good news on the enrollment front. Also, the importance of continuing to identify positive things at a time when we struggle with some of the federal news, I think is critical. And so I wanted to compliment UH Mānoa's Hawaii Nui Akea, a group who helped kick off Hawaiian History Month, the first time ever officially that was recognized, with a series of events with the Hawaii Pono'i Coalition and City and County of Honolulu's Mayor's Office of Culture and Arts for a series of events in this last month, and those continue through the end. Also, some important information continues about how we do workforce development. Hawaiian Airlines and Honolulu Community College are expanding workforce development partnerships with a new initiative to train the next generation of aviation maintenance technicians, which is really critical to our state. The participating students are going to receive over $10,000 stipend, reimbursement for their exam fees, and mentorship from Hawaiian Airline techs, and job offers from the airlines contingent upon their passing the program. So a great example of how we're continuing to meet the needs of the state of Hawaii. And also, I just wanted to give a shout out to the University of Hawaii at Hilo Athletics, who have kicked off their largest annual fundraiser this month with Vulcan Challenge to ensure continued excellence for Vulcan student athletes in the classroom, in competition, and in service to the Hawaii Island. So thank you for all of those efforts, and we applaud those efforts. I don't have in here, but I do want to mention UH Mānoa's athletics fundraiser as well, and all of the efforts of our team to continue to meet the needs of our student athletes across the system. And we end today with the most joyous thing to talk about, and that is some of our employees and employee groups who are simply doing outstanding work across the system and who have received some recognition for that we're proud to point out today. So the first, I'm pleased to recognize, what I'm going to do is announce all of these awards and then come out to meet those of you in the audience. I believe you're here today to thank you personally for these and recognize you and take some pictures. But first up is the UH President's Award for Excellence in Building and Grounds Maintenance. This annual system-wide award was established in 1986, and I'm very pleased to announce this year's award goes to Ivan Hartenson, who plays a critical role in maintaining the Isabel Aona Abbott Life Sciences building. Ivan is celebrated for his meticulous work ethic and steadfast dedication to maintaining a clean, safe, and welcoming environment. And I'm going to go off script to add, this kind of work is so critical to maintaining our community. And you should know, these are things I hear about a lot, and it's my pleasure to hear really positive things about our employees. So please join me in congratulating Ivan Hartenson on this well-deserved recognition. Ivan will call you up in a minute. First, though, let me identify some state awards keeping the spotlight on our great employees. These are Governor's Awards for Distinguished State Service, and there are 3 of them. First, we honor our 2025 Employee of the Year, Carol Oshiro. Carol serves as the Strategic Initiatives Manager for the College of Tropical Agriculture and Human Resilience, where she's worked for over 20 years. That alone is worth some recognition. Carol created CTAR's Shared Services Unit, which has processed over 2,500 fiscal transactions in just the past year, ensuring essential operations continue despite staffing shortages. Streamlining scholarship processes has resulted in more than $1.2 million in scholarships awarded, and through her innovative outreach and redesigned recruitment materials, she's helped to boost enrollment across CTAR programs with increases in both undergrad and graduate students. Please join me in congratulating Karo Oshiro. Next up is Manager of the Year, Roy Suda. Roy serves as the IT Manager for the Office of the Vice Provost for Enrollment Management at UH Mānoa. He oversees IT infrastructure, supporting 120 employees, balancing complex priorities. And I can assure you there are many competing priorities in the Office of Enrollment Management. Roy has been instrumental in safeguarding sensitive data and has led initiatives that streamline admissions and financial aid workflows, which are essential to supporting student services across the institution. Please join me in congratulating Roy Suda. And finally, it's my pleasure to recognize the Team of the Year, UH Mānoa's Sustainable and Organic Agriculture Program. The UH Mānoa Sustainable Organic Agriculture Program, which I love the acronym SOAP, supports Hawaii's transition to sustainable and organic farming by conducting applied research and providing direct support and training to farmers. The team has brought in more than $4.5 million in competitive grants, funding innovative projects that directly benefit farmers and communities statewide. This work is important not only to the university, but to our communities across the state. Please join me in congratulating everyone involved in SOAP for winning Team of the Year this year.